pit stop. It's a pit stop. Pit stop. It's a pit stop. Pit stop. It's a pit stop. Pit stop.
And we are back with your Purple Pants podcast pit stop coverage of Amazing Race season 36. I am joined by the talented, has an amazing voice, the winner of Amazing Race season 29, Miss Brooke Cam High. Brookie Poo, what's popping?
How you doing, baby?
Okay. Well, listen, Brooke, I hate to cut your intro a little short, but that's all you get today. Now, don't tell Danny and Angie what I'm about to say, but my favorite Amazing Race duo. You might remember him from Amazing Race season 34, but more importantly, Ice stands no chance. This duo, we have Lewis and Michelle. Welcome to the podcast.
How you doing, baby?
Pants. It's the purple pants. I was singing that all morning.
You were singing that jam all morning. Swear to God.
I love it. I feel like it's also special. You probably can't see me, but if I move my head, okay, Lewis. Okay, calendar sits right behind my head. It is the month of Lewis in the Zaddy calendar.
My wife doesn't even have that calendar up in the house right now.
I don't.
How dare you, Michelle?
That's what the real thing. She doesn't need the calendar. Just take your shirt off. There you go. There's her calendar.
This is
end.
true.
With a lot of oil be the real thing. So much oil that day. Gosh,
And we know what they're doing this afternoon.
Making fried eggs. Okay.
Exactly. Yes.
So I've been loving the coverage that you two have been covering on your YouTube page. First of all, shout out your brother, Michelle, because I love your brother. I think he's so amazing. I love your recaps. How have you guys been loving this season?
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to do it without Mike, honestly.
Yeah, for real.
I like it wasn't even our idea. Like I wouldn't even have done a podcast for our own season if Mike didn't approach us, be like, "Hey guys, I want to do this." And sometimes I feel like, man, this guy does so much work. He does the graphics, he does the editing, and I'm just like, man, I'm so sorry to put you through this, Mike. And he goes, no, I love this. Like he loves doing it. Shout out to Mike. And yeah, we just have some fun. We do some goofy ass stuff.
We go all over the place in our podcast.
We're all over. But yeah, so we try our best over there.
Well, then you're in good company because I have found that for the past several weeks, I just take all of my notes and I've just been throwing them all over the place because I don't even know where we are anymore. Brice likes to jump and I like to try and keep up with it. So that's what happens around here. So welcome and good luck. And
Brooke, I get it. Lewis is the one to go all over the place. I'm like trying to hold on. Let's go.
It's amazing. We are almost to the end of another season, and it's crazy to see.
It went by way too fast.
Right. I feel like it's such a short season. I'm not sure what they're doing, but I hear it ends in an amazing, great, probably the best city Amazing Race has ever ended in, from what I'm hearing.
Lewis and Michelle, do you know this? That when season 36 was this one was filming, Brice calls me and says, I think the Amazing Race is filming in Philadelphia. I just saw people running by. And I go, follow them. What are you doing? He had to go to work. He did not follow them. But I go, when did this ever happen? You saw them. I go, stalk them and work will be there tomorrow. And he didn't. So we don't know what happens, but we could have. If somebody took this podcast seriously enough.
I got a little scared. I was like, I'm not sure what's happening. Is this really? And then people were watching and I called Brooke and but work is working. So,
You should have chased them, been like, do you need my phone? Do you need my phone?
How amazing would that have been if I really, there's a little part of me that thinks that you did this, but I know that you didn't. How amazing would it be if next week on TV we see I'm assuming Ricky and Sacer, I don't know, go up to Brice and be like, can we use your phone? And you'd be like, in a Purple Pants podcast t-shirt, ready to do it. Like, that would be so crazy to me.
Yes, I for sure. Brice is wearing a purple shirt. He's wearing something purple. Absolutely. So it's easy to spot him on camera. Yeah, that's pretty. That's right. I forgot that's gonna end in Philadelphia. We saw some mascots. We saw a bunch of mascots actually in the sneak peek, and I'm really excited about it. It's unfortunate that it's 10 episodes this season. I'm thinking because they didn't have a chance they weren't prepared for an hour and a half episode, so they had to kind of like put the last episode into two kind of separate, penultimate leg and the last leg. I think they're doing elimination prior to kind of like the last leg, and they're just putting it all together. So I think it's going to be good. I think that's probably best, because if not, the episode's going to lag a bit. So I think they did a good job. They had to do it pretty much.
It has been confirmed for me that only 3 teams will cross the finish line, which makes me very happy, because if they changed it and made it 4, I would kind of think that was a little bit BS. Which
has happened only once, I think, in the history. 4 teams to the finale.
4 teams? Oh, it's happened where 4 teams have made the finale. Like 26, I think they eliminated a team partway through. Rochelle and Mike and Rochelle. The blind date season, they eliminated a team partway through the finale. But I don't think 4 teams have ever actually crossed the finish line.
I think you're right.
Someone will correct me, because without fail, somebody who knows more than I do, even though I feel like I know a lot, will go in the comments and be like, Brooke, here's where you're wrong. And I like that.
Bringing out the receipts.
That's where I'm wrong. I'm
Me and
wrong all the
Michelle
time.
are like, we think Lewis is like, Brooke is like, I think 4 or 5. Okay, I love the amazing.
Forget me, we had Corey here, and Corey's like, so here are the statistics. He did his homework. He made me look like I had never seen the show before in my entire life.
Yes.
Hilarious.
Yes.
Hi, Corey.
Shout out to Corey. I think he always brings the numbers whenever he
does.
He actually, this is how great Corey is. So Corey, and I didn't screenshot it, so I have to go back into my messages, sent Brice and I a statistic that said, good for your next recap. You're putting it up. No matter how Ricky and Sacer do in the last 2 legs, they are guaranteed to break the record for the best average placement on the U.S. version of The Amazing Race. So Corey's here even when he's not here, and thank you for that. And I'm saying it doesn't matter how you do, as long as you finish first in the last leg. That's what I'm saying.
I know.
I agree.
I agree. And we did not. This season, I hate to say it, because as a racer, I wouldn't want to hear podcasts saying this, but I hate that it's been so predictable. Like, and since it's been hour and a half episodes, but there isn't like enough challenges. Like, there's times where I feel like it's lagging a little bit, like dragging.
I mean, there have been several episodes where you can watch the first 5 minutes and see who starts in what order, and then they finish in the exact same order. There's not enough punching. There's not enough. I mean, U-turns would have made such a big difference this season, as far as I'm concerned. I love Ricky and Sacer. Big fan. Huge fan. But it would have been nice to see some other teams have the ability to mess with their race a little bit, because that's part of the game. And it's just a part that, didn't exist this time around. So
I'm sorry, Brice. I'm to the point where I want to see Ricky and Cesar just win. Now I'm happy. I'm enjoying watching a team of such dominance, and a team that hasn't like had a bump in the road. Like, this is crazy what we're watching. So if you guys want to go back, go back in a day where Michael Jordan was hooping, now we can't see that live anymore. You guys got to enjoy this, because you're not going to see it anymore. I'm telling you, I know you guys want to see changes in the groups. You want to see other teams succeed, but this is history that we're watching. For them to not even land in 3rd place in a single leg, not once. Their lowest leg is 2nd place.
Yeah.
This is greatness that we're watching. So, and it's only 1 episode left.
And I love the fact that it's 2 gay men doing it. I think that it's like so amazing to see. And so for me, seeing members of my community like crush it like that, it really means a lot to me. Now, in that same breath,
hold on, because I feel like they're also part of my community, which is the community of people who don't work out a lot, and the community of people who enjoy like food. And they're in shape. Don't get me wrong, they are in shape. But like, these are not 2 bodybuilder. They're not 2 rods. This is 2 more average physicality people who are really, and it just shows you don't need to be the fastest or the strongest, but they know the game and they're very smart. And I love that about The Amazing Race, because I was that amazing. The fastest, not the strongest, but I think that's great. It shows that anybody can do it, and that the race is made just for like all people.
Yes, and we'll talk about, I guess, when we get to the baseball task. But like, just because you're not like crazy in shape and muscles doesn't mean you're not athletic. These guys are athletic. like for them to do what they did in that task, like
As
Ricky,
quick.
yo.
So first of all, Ricky pissed me off this episode
Oh, come
because
on.
all right, so we could Ricky pissed me off
What?
because
I'm getting
Caesar
hot. All right,
has
no,
been
let's go.
so good at everything, right? See, first of all, I say on this podcast that Ricky and Caesar are not human. I don't care what nobody say. Like they are some like mutants that like are good at everything. But in this episode, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, oh, Ricky gonna struggle a little bit, and I ain't mad. Ricky got up to that thing. He said, "But I said."
It took Rod 14 tries.
That's the best part of this episode. I'm sorry. Ricky
really
is
is.
like, I played Little League once, like when I was a tot, and he gets up there, first try, and maybe like third try, super fast. Then, of course, they show Rod being like, I was being scouted by the Red Sox. I was being scouted by the Yankees. I'm no promise to baseball. And then he gets up there.
And
I
just
love
when
Rod.
he
I
did-
think Rod, for Lewis and Michelle who don't know, I think Rod, if he wasn't a pro footballer, would be the best cheerleader. I love his attitude.
Yes.
I love his like sparkle. I love
Agreed.
Letitia too. They're both so like, they're just
Amazing.
joyful.
Yeah,
I
they
love
are.
them.
Yes.
But that was just beauty in editing to me for one person to be like, I hit a ball once. I played stick ball when I was a kid one time here or there. And then the other one to be like, I could have been this, I was that. And then he's like, they're just flying by him.
And their relationship is so funny because after you get a shot of Leticia saying, oh, yeah, he always says he's good at things, but he's really not. Yeah.
You hear the ball hitting the cage. Was that his ball? She's like, yep, that was his ball.
They're so great. Okay, sorry, Brice.
I loved it. And I just feel like, although I agree with you, Michelle, right? I feel like the season has lagged a little bit just because Ricky and Caesar have been in first place or second. But what I am excited about, the final teams that we have, I really feel like anything could happen with these teams that we have. Juan and Shane are hella strong as long as they don't have to cut an avocado. They're in it. Rod and Chi-Chi are very, very strong.
Mhm.
Amber and Vinny, if they could, get on the page, just one together, they could kill it. So it's like, I do love the fact that we have teams that can win.
I had a little bone to pick with Vinny this episode. And you know me, I have been defensive because editing is real and we don't know what was said and not shown and so on and so forth. But I do, when we get to the second note, whatever the seeds and the trees and the climbing of the trees thing, I have a bone to pick because I really feel like they broke a rule. So
I got another bone to pick too, but let's get into that episode, Brooke.
Okay.
What you got?
Sorry. I have like 10 pages of notes. We'll use one page, I'm sure, and then I'll throw them all out because this is what's been happening. Okay, so we have the final 5 teams. They're in Barbados. They're going to the Dominican Republic, another country the race has never been to. I love the Dominican Republic. I think Michelle and Lewis, you were saying you've been to the Dominican Republic too. Super beautiful.
Yes.
We actually did
the same
thing that they did, which is crazy. We went on a cruise we went with James and some other people from reality TV, and we jumped off the same ledge that they did, swam the whole thing.
Cruise?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was such an amazing cruise. And then, but that water was not as clean when we went inside. I had so much diarrhea afterwards for like days. It was
Did you drink
so
it?
bad. It was a lot of
did.
us. No, it was a lot of us that was bad.
Because you guys
for
do
days.
not know how to close your mouth when you jump.
Whatever. We're always yelling. Yeah, we're drunk, going down the waterfalls. But it wasn't just me. It was a lot of people that had messed up stomachs afterwards. But anyways, still beautiful falls.
But
we were there.
It's crazy to see because we did that trail to go up and it was pretty long. And
it was a long trip.
You don't really get to experience how far people run on the race. Because you see it quick on TV, but sometimes it's miles that you have to run.
There was during our season of the race, it was said to us that we would run a marathon's length every third day if you didn't get lost at all. And nobody didn't get lost at all. So like it's so much more running than people ever say, or walking or crying. If you're me, whatever. It's fine. Shout out to Saber, by the way, who when he was running with Juan was like, He's still right there. He's
Yep.
keeping up with me. Like, that's super impressive. So, but also shout out to Juan and Shane.
Oh, and shout out to, I think it's Melissa.
Melissa that stayed with Rod.
Stayed with Rod. I was like, where was this? The whole competition. I love this.
This was their best episode.
I love them. And to hear that she was there and had done this before when she was protecting the vice president, like, she's so badass. Like, I just, such a fan of that team. I'm so sad they went home. Did love that this was the first time I can remember ever that The Amazing Race did a little like postscript and told us that since the race they've moved in together and they had a baby like a week before the show premieres. So that's so lovely. I love that for them.
Yeah, that was a beautiful clip.
Yeah.
And Melissa's such a badass that she also went through a pregnancy. She said I'll do the pregnancy. Like, that's great. That's really cool. That's really cool.
Love them. Okay, sorry. So sorry, Brice. This is what happens. I don't know. Okay, so Group 1 leaves at 8:45. Obviously, it's Ricky and Cesar, because who else would it be? And it's Juan and Shane. They have to look through the jungle for the clue. They run through the jungle like 2 miles. Cesar was happy he could like see Juan the whole time. And they get to this roadblock, which says, who can see the writing on the wall? And they have to go canyoning, where Lewis and Michelle apparently did that canyoning. I hope they didn't drink the water, or in the next episode they will be pukey. And they had to find these 10 stones, which... and ID them after the fact. And Brice, I'm going to say it right now, because this whole season I've been saying these tasks are so easy. These tasks are trash. It's not the contestants' fault, but I did not like the task. This was the best task of the season, hands down, no question. It was not easy. It was attention to detail. The stones had 2 sides with tiny, tiny little changes on them. I loved this task. This was my favorite. What did you think?
Agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
How do you think you, Lewis, and Michelle would have done on this task?
Who would have done it?
I think it would have been Michelle.
Yeah.
Anything that involves like adventure, canyoning, heights, that would have been her. And
memory too, because I think.
Well, you didn't know. Well, you would have known it was memory.
But someone
when you opened up the clue.
I think someone mentioned it when they opened the clue that it was something of memory.
How would they know? It's
I
a
don't
roadblock.
know.
It's just whatever. But
okay.
but yeah, she would have.
How would they know?
How would they know? They can't know. It's just one sentence. But anyways, she would have killed this. She would have done great. I love the fact, Brooke, how you said it was difficult and how it's double-sided and just little attention to detail where you had to remember like where the eyeball was on which side of the rock. And that was really good. I really enjoyed this task. And I wish kind of the teams didn't team up, or maybe would have teamed up against Ricky and Cesar.
Right.
Well, because I'm an equal opportunity person, I will have a little bit of a gripe with Cesar this time, because if you agree to work with somebody, I'm going to say it. If you agree to work with somebody, I like that he went over and he's like, this one doesn't have a tail, this. He did what he could. But I feel that since they had an agreement to work together and Melissa gave him several symbols that he did not you can look at me all you want like that, Brett. I'm not going to change what I'm saying. She gave him several symbols that he didn't see. He should have waited to make sure she got it. It was been 10 seconds.
Disagree.
She had one wrong. That's fine, but they agreed to work together.
No, I would not wait.
If I would have never done this in 5th grade, I'm cheating off of Michael's chest for multiplication. It's not Michael's job to wait for me to get. I gotta get in where I fit in. Shout out to Michael.
Brooke, he can't says I can't hold her hand during the task.
Nope.
I think he said enough.
Disagree. I'm sorry. They agreed to work. If they agreed to team up for the task,
right. Let me ask you a question,
agreed
Brooke.
to team up
Let
for
me
the
ask you a
task.
question, Brooke.
Yes.
Do you have the same energy for Shane and
Yes.
Rod? Because
Yes, I
Shane
do.
left
Yes,
Rod.
I do. Yes, I do. Although the difference between the Juan and Rod situation and the Cesar and Melissa situation was that they showed, and maybe Juan and Rod had this conversation too, which didn't make the air, but Melissa and Cesar went through it together multiple times, and she was like, this is here, this is there, and Cesar's like, oh, I didn't see that one, whatever. I'm just saying, he did 99% of what he should have, where he's like, this one didn't have a tail, that all the eyes are on the left. He did the right thing. But if you agree to work with somebody and you agree to get it together and work together, okay, that's fine.
You're racing for $1 million. That I think that is an example of the perfect way to help someone. You help them enough where it's not like, oh, they just sold me out, but you don't give them the clue. You got to go. You got to keep going. That's why they're winning first place.
Yeah.
Because your gripe really should be with, it was Melissa that did it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your gripe should have been with Melissa.
Yes.
If I'm Melissa and we going back through that water, I'm not going to tell you about the squiggly line that I see to the left. I'm
But you
that
agreed
wasn't
to work
myself.
together.
Yeah, I'm working with you, but I'm going to help you.
What I also think Cesar could have done is let Melissa walk over to his thing and say, take 10 seconds, look at this, and then cover it up with the palm again and go. Maybe he didn't need to wait for her that way. But he even said when they got in the car, I think they're right behind us. I hope they're right behind us. Also, I think he knew that there were teams that were placing higher. And if he's going to help a team, he's not going to help a team that's consistently coming in second. He's going to help a team that's consistently coming in the bottom because next week he wants to go up against them instead of a Juan and a Shane. So that's fine. Agree to disagree. Everybody else is wrong. That's okay.
I also think he also knows that they have an alliance already. The three remaining teams, Rod, Leticia, Juan and Shane have always been working together, and Rod, Juan,
Amber.
and Amber and Vinny. But yeah, so but shout out to Amber. She did it all by herself.
Amber, shout out to Amber. But you know what they didn't show in this episode that I feel like should be acknowledged? Although this challenge was really, 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 really hard, I've never played the Amazing Race before, so it's like I can't actually say. But I know if Anthony and Bailey were out here, this would have been Bailey's challenge to get. Bailey would have been so great at this water.
I gotta go. Hang up on me. Every week,
Anthony
Brice does this.
Stuff. So I just,
you know what? I think you're right, Brice. I do. I think this is based on what I know of Anthony and Bailey and how well they did on the episodes that they were on. I think this would have been the moment where Bailey shined. I think this would have been
first place for sure.
I feel like that this would have been a great edit of them going, "Oh, what do we do?" And then the world starts spinning. Oh, which one?
And then they get it immediately. It was so good. Oh my God! Shout out to Bailey who made a little comment on our thing saying, "I heartfelt apologies to Bailey. I know I have a little bit of fun at your expense. You two were a joy to watch. I cannot wait to meet you. Please don't be mad at me in person." Okay. Okay.
Okay, so I know I'm jumping all over the place, right? But I have a gripe with production this season, right? First of all, episode 3, all the boats not working, okay? You messed Danny and Angie up by getting them on the wrong boat. Then last episode, you had a production team off at happy hour. For me, like, how you have taxis, and I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but I just want to remember my anger. How you have a taxi driver and don't know where you going? but sidebar, the taxi driver that didn't know where he was going, he could have got me lost. Okay, spin more time. Okay, spin the block, do whatever you want to do. But like, what's your opinion as racers? If y'all had a taxi driver, and I'm not talking tut-tuts, because you know tut-tut drivers is something different. A taxi driver.
Yeah.
Well,
so here's
the deal.
No, so we did mostly self-drive in our season, which is something that I feel like people don't give us enough credit for because we had 10 self-driving legs in a season, which people only have 2 or 3.
Did you get lost?
No, I mean, did we? I mean, it's not a matter of if we got lost, it's when you get lost and you got to fix it. But here's the thing about what's going on in this season, right? So it's a COVID season, and the times that we had a driver, it was just get in and go, like. It was just in Jordan, right? Only in Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan.
In Jordan, because that's the only place we couldn't drive. So I feel like that's happening here. They're having more taxis, and that's what's happening here, where you just get in and they already know where they're going. But it looks like these taxis were like old school Amazing Race, where they didn't know where they were going, and they were
just probably like
my
tired.
guess. They're still in that racing COVID mode. They just get in here. We're going here. And the taxi driver's like, I don't know where that is. So they should have, Brice. It's not the taxi driver's just a taxi driver. They don't have a GPS memorized in their head. You have to, as a racer, you have to ask them, do you know where this is at? So I think that's where the trickery came in from production. Like, oh,
but I like that. Though.
I like that.
Yeah, because
I like that.
I do because you have to. This is why Ricky and Cesar are getting first. What did they do? They
Well, I
asked
mean,
them right away, do you know where you're going?
They double checked.
Yeah,
they double checked. Do you know where this is at? I'm sure if the person didn't know, they would have switched taxi drivers. They nailed it. Once again, we're watching greatness, everybody. Yeah. This is Michael Jordan in his prime, bro.
I'm sorry. I
gotta blame the taxi driver. I'm sorry. If you are a taxi driver, I think it's your responsibility to know where things are in your city. Know where you're going. But even if you don't know where you're going, I'm fine with that. Even if you don't know where you're going, don't just start driving. This is a Vinny and Amber special. This happened to us and several teams. It happened to us in Vietnam. It happened to other teams. I remember it happened to Tara and Joey. There's a clip on our season of Joey being like, do you know where you're going? He goes, yes. And Joey's like, do you know? And asks some ridiculous questions.
Yeah.
Like, yes. And sometimes they just don't know, but they tell you they do. And if your driver says, I know, I'm going to believe you because you say, you know. And then ultimately, yes, make them pull over. But their driver, they passed again. Gas station and they're like, let us get out, and the driver just didn't stop. Like I would have been less nice. I would have lost my mind on this driver, because just to drive for the sake of driving, that's not.
There was two taxi drivers that did that, right? I think there was two taxi drivers. Wasn't there somebody else that did that too?
Rod and Cheech. Rod immediately was like, no. But with Vinny and Amber's, he could keep driving. All right, where are we at now, bro?
We're disagreeing a lot today. I love it.
And I love it.
26 minutes in. Group 2 leaves at 9:00 in the morning. And that's the rest of the teams all together. Ron and Letitia, Vinny and Amber, whose edit is just trash. Like, I just feel so badly for them and their edit. But then you hear Amber saying, like, I just need to listen to him. I need to not be so hard-headed. She's too hard on herself. I don't know. I feel like Amber...
They both have a lot of things to work on.
Right, but I understand how Amber later in the episode is like, told you I knew this. Because, like, I feel like she's constantly being told that when she's wrong. And I understand the instinct to when you are finally right to be like, see, I knew. Like, and I don't think she's trying to be annoying about it, but I think that's how she's being edited, and so I feel for her in that situation.
It's the Amazing Race brings the worst out of couples at times, and what's crazy is like Brice, if you watch old school Amazing Race, every season has four couples that are worse than Amber and Vinny's edit. Like, it's cringy back in the day. Like, it was ugly watching couples race. And now Amber and Vinny, compared to couples back in the day, they're not that bad. But yes, they both have things to work on. I blame the race. I think out of this, hectic environment, they're fine. They're great. They're great people. But I have to give it to I think Vinny had a better leg today when it came to like self-control, because I think, for me, watching Amber this episode, she was the one kind of like digging in, like I told you this. What are you doing climbing that tree? You have to use this. Get down from the tree there. And I was a little impatient with Amber this episode.
I was a little patient with Vinny. Why are you in that damn tree? If you don't just shake it and let's go, you take it 20 minutes.
Okay, it's time. Forget it. Here's my gripe. If you have a tool to use in a task, you should have to use the tool in the task. You don't get to climb the tree. Also, side note, Brice, I heard from the racers who I watched with, this orchard, I don't know what you call it, was infested with spiders. Everyone was getting spider bites. Apparently, Vinny was covered because he climbed. I would have quit. I would have been like at the mat being like, bring me the pods. I will crack them open and do all of that. I have a debilitating fear of spiders. And this would not have been it for me. Apparently, Vinny, especially because he was all up there in the trees being Tarzan, got destroyed. But if you have a tool, you should have to use the tool. I think it's cheating. I don't like it. And he broke a tree. Like, that's just disrespectful to the location that you're in.
Well, do you have the same gripe?
For who?
With Vinny as Rod? Because Rod was just up there, pluck, and they was just thousands of them were coming down. Okay, Rod is using his 8'7" advantage because he just was like, pluck.
At least they brought the tool with them. I don't know. They at least had the tool. Letitia had the tool. I don't know. Fine, I have the same gripe.
Oh, we lost her. Are you guys here?
Yes, hold on.
Have
enough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because had that same issue with Rod, because Rod was just not
Okay.
Are you?
I'll have the same issue with Ron. I got no problems, but at least Letitia had the tool in her hand. Vinny and Amber left the tool by the mat and was like, "We don't need this. I'm just gonna climb the tree and do it myself." I don't like that because then Amber's not even participating. At least bring the tool and try and help.
I'm
like Vinny and Amber. I appreciate them. They're good sports. They're making fun of themselves and like online. I appreciate their take on it all. I don't appreciate the climbing into the tree and breaking things on somebody else's property, but that's just
it should have been you have to use the tool or you'll get a penalty, or those coconuts don't count. Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
I feel like that's what a little controversy of it is. Like, people think that they should have gotten a penalty for not using
no, production makes the rules. It's up to production.
Yeah, but I'm saying
production should have said you
you
have to use a scythe.
If it tells it, but that's what it said in the clue.
Come on, Michelle.
I don't think it said that. It would have said. It would have said. We were talking
about it in another podcast.
Then it should say.
It did say.
Then it should say
the tool.
If it said,
I got the clue right here, Lewis, and it says you have to use the tool. Michelle, you right.
Exactly, but I'm one of those people that on the race it says certain rules, and I feel like you have to follow the exact rules.
Yeah. My gripe with Vinny is I'm not even mad that you climbing the tree. Just climb the tree that got the coconuts. You climb and sit up the tree, and only one is coming down. Climb like 9 of them.
He's like, oh my God, a coconut way high. I get to climb a tree now. All right, let me just
look what I can do. Yeah. And then shout out then to Melissa and Yvonne, who when they see Juan and Shane doing it are like, ooh, they're in a place lousy with the pods. We're just going to go over there and start taking them. And I love that. They were like, oh, that one's ours. That one's ours. We're just, thanks so much. And we're just going to take this one. They were so great.
Yeah, Rod looked like he definitely played basketball back in the day, not baseball. Basketball, grabbing those coconuts, coming down with the rebound.
Well, I hear he was being scouted by the Bulls, and he was being scouted by the Knicks. And I love Rod.
Yeah, we love him too. This episode, I was a coconut. Okay, I was just waiting for Rod to just come knock me off the tree.
You're the best. Okay, so anyway, we've already talked about the first task and how Cesar should have stayed a little bit longer. You guys are all wrong, whatever. Amber did it by herself. Good on her. I don't need this anymore. Okay, so they are now at.
I'm gonna say one more thing about that, because I'm gonna go your side now, right?
Ooh,
but wait. Melissa should have grabbed him and been like, hey, I helped you.
Yes.
Where did you go? You need to help me so we leave together because I helped you.
Right. You're
okay,
right.
there.
100%.
That's it. We could keep
You're right. It is a little bit on her to be like, just check 10 seconds, make sure they got it, and say what's wrong here. And although I do think the only one he didn't say to her was about the spiral, she should have swapped. That was the easiest one to swap over because it was the hardest one to know. But good on her for sticking with it. I would have been cursing and crying and screaming because I would have been like, he left me. This is garbage. I helped him. Whatever. They're great. Nobody is losing their mind.
I have a question. When you're doing those type of challenges and we as viewers, they give you like the and you can see the checks on the TV. Does the producer or someone there so they don't? Okay. Yeah.
They just know wrong. They don't know which ones are wrong.
And they don't tell you if you have to use all of them, if you have to use a certain amount. Yeah. You don't know why it's wrong.
Yeah,
it's just
good task.
That was I very rarely am perfection. I liked that one. The other ones were kind of, but whatever. I like that one. That one was great. The baseball one left something to be desired. They could have done 1,400 more things. At the baseball one, Cesar said he didn't even get to sit down. Ricky did it so quickly. Like, that's just too easy a task then. If you're going to have people start in bunches, if you're not going to have U-turns, if you're not going to have things that push people back, at least make the tasks hard enough that other people have a chance to catch up because you're struggling. That's my feeling.
According in the book of Rod, it was hard enough.
We weren't there that long. It was whatever.
Yeah, it's one of those tasks where you could do it 100 times and still be there 5 minutes. Like it was quick. It was quick though. But I still enjoyed it. I saw Bartolo Colon, which is my last name, Colon, my boy, Dominicano, que lo que. He is a legendary baseball player. He played for many years in the big leagues. Like I'm telling you, like he lasted forever. Like I grew up with this guy all the way to adult. Like this guy was still in the major leagues. It's really cool to see that caliber of an athlete on The Amazing Race, and that's pretty cool. Like to see him there, interacting with the teams. I enjoyed this. I also played baseball when I was younger. I was like, man, I wish I could do this task. But yeah,
Michelle, let's pause Lewis for a second. Is Lewis good at baseball?
I don't know. I've never seen him play.
Okay, well,
but
that answers the question.
I will say Lewis is very athletic. I feel like anything that has to do with sports, he gets it pretty right on. We were in Japan and we were playing darts, and he won us heart of shots because he beat these Japanese people at darts. So
okay, Lewis.
Like
I also won a ninja throwing contest.
Oh, he did?
A ninja star.
He did.
Well, I'm not throwing ninjas. I'm throwing ninja stars. Ninja star throwing contest.
You know what? So
I could throw some ninjas.
Lewis did martial arts growing up. So I feel like he's very focused on things, like very random facts.
Michelle, what was the sport I played the most when I was younger?
I don't know.
You don't know? Baseball, Michelle.
Okay.
My dad.
I think he was a ninja throwing expert.
So, random fact: when there's a fly in the room, a mosquito, he's one of those people who like looks at it and is like,
I will chase that fly around the house.
You will catch it. So I feel like he's just like good at.
But answering Brice's question, I played baseball my whole life.
Like on the field.
Okay, she was okay.
On the bench.
You say so.
Video games like Vinny.
Wait, are you good at soccer, Lewis?
Soccer, no.
Okay,
No.
so when I come to Miami, we play me one-on-one in soccer because that's the only sport that I'm A1 at.
Exceed.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, we'll play some micro soccer around here. We got a few cages around here. I'm down.
Okay.
Well, Brice, you gotta make your ass down here, dude.
Listen, it's official. Anyone that's listening, I'm about to say Vinny, Lewis, and Michelle and myself, we're having a sleepover when I come to Miami, and I cannot wait.
And Brooke.
And Brooke. Hopefully, my taxi knows how to get from the airport to Lewis and Michelle's house.
I don't want to come anyway. It's fine.
It's like 10-15 minutes away. So if you can't get here, Brice, you can't be on the race.
So where are we at now, bro?
I don't know. We're
all over the place.
No idea. I don't know.
I think we were still in the rocks.
But
no, the rocks are done. We're over that. We're in the trees. Vinny's climbed a tree. Ricky and Cesar were very smart about the cacao pods. Exactly. They did a little assembly line. You move one thing, and I like that. They're very smart about how
very smart.
They play. Juan and Shane are so cute. They're talking about how they're trick-or-treating in a full-size candy bar neighborhood with all of these pods. I enjoy them. They keep their spirits up. Vinny's shit. We talked about Vinny already. Whatever. Rod is just grabbing them because he's
how funny was the chocolate thing where he tried to feed him the chocolate and he wouldn't take it?
Yeah, Juan's like, bite it. Shane's like, no, you already bit that. That's disgusting. That was good. Those guys
Put it
are
in your mouth. I
love them.
I do too. I put $5 on them to win at the beginning of the season before anything started and before I knew anything about anything. And so, I might be $5 richer next week. This is going to be a big deal. I mean, not if Ricky and Cesar have anything to say about it, but whatever. Okay, so everyone's doing the Coco thing. We don't care. We're done with that. And so then they have to go to the baseball stadium. I love this. I love when they get to show like actual local places where people have given back. I love that he came back. He built the stadium. I like that whole giving back nature of everything. Mm-hmm. So anyway, blah, 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 there, whatever. We don't care. Okay, so whatever to be scrapped. Okay, so I'm actually curious about something. So there were 2 roadblocks and no detours on this episode of the race. And I should have asked the people on it because we had one leg where there were 2 roadblocks and no detours. But I always wonder if that meant that something had to be scrapped. Like I wonder if there was a task that either weather-wise or just logistic-wise didn't work out, because I'm wondering if the the first task, or not the canyoning one, that's a roadblock. But if this baseball thing, there was another option that just didn't work out, and it should have been a detour.
Yeah.
But also, it would have been the easiest detour in all time if 2 people were doing it. So we have 2 roadblocks, no detours. We talked about it. You have to do 3 drills. Like, get 1 ground ball, catch 1 fly ball, and hit a stick. Like, it's too easy. Like,
So I was on James' podcast, and they were actually talking about the fact that whenever there's 2 roadblocks, that one, like in past seasons, one person has to do one roadblock, and then the next one they don't allow that same person to do the roadblock. So they were kind of like fighting it, like, should they have allowed the same person to do that roadblock? Like, for us it worked because we were doing a mega leg, so it was a whole entire day of a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, it's technically 2 separate legs in one day, technically.
Right.
But this is,
I don't know.
I mean, it happened to us in South Korea where there was a cup stacking challenge, and I did the first one, and then there was like an esports video game challenge, so the other person had to do the second one. That is sort of the norm. I don't know why they didn't do that here. Yeah. Although most teams, I think 3 of the 5 had the other person do the second. If I have it right, maybe 2 of the 5, I don't know, had the other one do the second roadblock. But the second roadblock was so easy that I can't imagine any one of the 10 people left would have struggled with it.
So where I'm at is, if I heard clearly, Leticia now has to do all the roadblocks.
Yeah, Rod's out of roadblocks.
I feel like that's probably not. I think Leticia is very athletic, very smart, and everything. But I feel like she lacks a little bit of competition in her, and I feel like
intensity.
Exactly. Yeah, and like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I want a little bit more from her. And I feel like now she has to do, in the finale, she has to do all the roadblocks, which scares me just a little bit. Because I know Rod wants this like bad, like he wants to get the first place. So, I mean, we'll see how it plays out with her doing the next roadblocks.
I think what's interesting, the one thing that I think is really good about Leticia is she doesn't give up on herself. Even if she's not doing well with something, her spirits still say hi, which I don't know what that's like, but it works for her. And so I like the fact that I feel like even if she has to do them all, which she does now, although they may say in the finale, she has to do at least the next leg's worth. And I think that even if she is struggling at it, she will stay positive. And they do have the secret weapon of Rod where he can cheer for her. And that goes such a long way if you're someone who likes to have a cheerleader, like not Ricky. Ricky's like, Stacey, shut up. I don't want to hear it. Let me be. But I'm someone who likes to hear, like, you're doing a good job, like, keep working on it. And Rod is the person who would give that more than anybody. So I'm curious to see how she does, like what the task is, how she does. If it's just a brute, like force strength task, then I think they will question whether it was a good idea for Rod to do the baseball or not. But we'll see. I don't know what it is next week, and I'm excited to see what it is. And I'll get to watch it with her, and I'll just lean over and be like, what did you think about this? I'm just getting everybody's face.
Are they all going to the finale?
Mm-hmm. Everyone will be there.
Awesome.
And the Double Dutch team has already told me they are bringing their jump ropes because they bring them everywhere. And we should all bring sneakers with us because they want everyone to try and jump rope. At some point during the finale, I'm going to do it early because I'm going to be drinking. And I don't need to try and do that.
I'll buy my ticket.
I got an extra bedroom. Come stay up here. You'll come hang out. It'll be great. It'll be a party.
How far are you from there, Brooke?
From where the finale is?
Yeah, Berry Park. Yeah.
20 minutes on
that's
subway.
awesome.
Yeah, like it's not far. It's very easy. So, invitation is open, even though you only invited Brice to stay at your house and not me.
You are definitely invited, both of you.
We're just going to knock on the door together. We'll be like, we here. Come in.
Perfect.
Okay, so anyway, Caesar doesn't even get to sit down while Ricky's doing it. Juan and Shane get it on the third try. I don't know where I am. Can somebody else talk? Like, this is
I guess we're at the part where we're just running to the pit stop, but I feel did the taxi drivers got lost after this, right? After the baseball. That's where so I guess like we're in the part where Amber and Vinny now have that taxi driver that get lost and Rod Leticia taxi driver that get lost. And I thought for a second there we're gonna see Melissa and Yvonne pull it through because of Amber and Vinny's taxi. I like that edit there.
I did like that
and
edit.
it was really close because we saw them both there at the end.
Wait, let me talk about Leticia now that I said that. She beat Juan and Shane to the pit stop. I love that. And then that's when I always say that like backpacks matter. Like you should not have a heavy backpack, obviously, and maybe try and do one try. But I always say that with the boys, like it doesn't matter because guys are strong. But this kind of proved the point that they should have thrown away a lot of things.
And she wasn't out there climbing trees too.
Right.
Like Vinny looked gassed.
Well, I want to also say, like, shout out to Vinny who because if I'm going to be harsh, I should also be kind. You know, at the stadium, Amber's like, maybe I should have done this. I played softball forever. I would have done that. This would have been mine. I played softball my whole life. This was way too easy. But Vinny, who never played baseball, did great. And then they get this cab where they get screwed. Yvonne does great until she has to start doing the broomstick part. And even then, she goes pretty quickly because, like you said, this is something where you could do it 20 times and it's 2 minutes. And then, so Rod and Leticia and Juan and Shane are in a battle with their cabs for second place.
And I love this. My gripe about the taxis not knowing, but I love an aggressive taxi driver that is willing to risk my life to win the race. Like, I love that. I thought that was like so great. And I felt bad for Juan and Shane because they was like, what the hell is going on?
My feeling with this was if the taxi was ever unsafe, your camera person is going to tell them to slow down. Yeah. I was always like, just go as fast as you can, kill us. As long as we don't, like, just buckle up, Scott. As long as we don't die, we are good. And Scott was always a little bit nervous. I'm like, but did you die? No. Right. We did have 1 or 2 times where our camera person was like, you need to slow. We were in Africa on roads that weren't like paved roads. And I think our camera person was a little bit sick that day. And he's like, you need to slow down. I'm like, just vomit on that way. Like, no, we're not slowing down. We keep going. So anyway, I like Brice talks about how he likes a driver who has like a little bit of like a tweak or just like a disturbance in their self because you know they're going to disregard all traffic rules. So I really liked that race for second. I would have never brought a backpack if I had known my teammate because I'm very into only one backpack. But Leticia nailed it. When they are running, I was like, okay, so Juan and Shane will have second and Ron and Leticia will have third. Exactly. Like, it is what it is. But no, in a surprise twist, like, she killed it. Great. So I'm into this. Anyway, Ricky and Stacey are first because whatever. They win a trip to Seoul, South Korea. It's beautiful. I hope they get to go enjoy it. Rod and Leticia come in second. And again, he talks about how proud he is of his wife and he's so supportive. And I love their relationship. It makes me so happy. Juan and Shane are in third. And then we have the last two who are racing to not be eliminated. And the editors are having fun because they show Vinny like coming hard on Amber a little bit. But she's not wrong in this situation. She's like, he needs to pull over. Like, what is he doing? Why is he just trying? She's not wrong this time. Mm-hmm. But what else are they going to show? And then Yvonne and Melissa are there. So Vinny and Amber get to the mat fourth. And Yvonne and Melissa get there while Vinny and Amber are still there. This is close. It's like a handful of minutes. And I'm not happy about this elimination. How do you feel about it?
I feel like Yvonne and Melissa are very under-edited. So I feel like, you know, I didn't feel that connection that I feel with other teams, unfortunately. And they don't have social medias. Like, you know how they have spoiler sites that like find the teams before the season even starts. Like, there's a spoiler site out there, reality TV fan, that did not have no idea who this team was, even until the day the race started. Or they still don't know who they are. So, and they don't have any social media presence, you know. So it's very hard for me to really like be sad about this. But this is their best episode yet, and the clip that they had at the end was beautiful. And now I'm like, where was this team the whole time? Now I miss them.
It was like interesting to see because when they did show little bits of their personalities, I actually really enjoyed it. Like when they showed Yvonne doing the whatever it's called, the tennis on the street, road tennis, and she's like, "Who has glasses on?" Because I thought maybe you wouldn't be able to see the ball. Like they're funny. I like them a lot. It is really that reality fan forum is that site that follows people around. I didn't know it existed. My family actually found it while I was racing. And so they were kind of following me around the globe. And then when I came back, they said to me, they're like, and then you disappeared. And we're like, oh, well, she was eliminated because we went from Greece to Vietnam and there were less people to find you in Vietnam who were like involved because we were in rural Vietnam at one point. And she's like, my mom was like, well, we guess you're out. And so that's fine. And then I guess they just stopped watching because they didn't know how it ended. And
that's crazy. For us, they actually just started tracking the charter plane number. Like they just followed. They literally followed a plane around the world. They're like, okay, they're here next. And yeah, that's how our family followed us.
Yeah,
that's so smart.
So
that is smart.
Yeah.
I feel like Yvonne and Melissa were riding that middle path for so long that it gets to a point when you're towards the end, like you can't ride that anymore. Like you gotta thrive in something, and it was the rocks that messed them up.
Yeah, I'm with Vinny. I don't think I was emotionally attached to them enough because I didn't see them enough. So it's like I'm so sad to see them go.
You just call me Vinny?
Yeah,
I was gonna let it go. But
Brice. I do look like an Italian Vinny, maybe.
You gotta grow your hair.
Yeah.
No, I'm with Lewis always and forever. But love or hate Vinny and Amber's edit, I'm attached to them. And I love the fact that they are here. And so all the, Twitter warriors, all the people saying nasty comments about them, they in the final episode. Where y'all at? Where you at? You're not with Vinny in the tree. So I'm happy that they are still in it. And I really do feel like they have a shot. But
well, that's the question then, Brice. Tell me, and all of you, what do you think? You have 4 teams left. Next week's the finale. Who gets what place?
So let's just take Ricky and Cesar out of it, right?
No, you can't. You can't take them out. You think they're first?
So yes, obviously, but I feel like they're everyone's first. So I'm going to take them out of my top. And I'm going to say, I'm going Juan and Shane. I'm going Juan and Shane.
Okay, so you think
outside of
Ricky and Cesar are second?
So, I think they're first, but I think Juan and Shane have the best
This is what I deal with. All I asked was to answer a question. What order do you think people finish? And he's all, well, we can't count this team. And then this is not really who I think is first. What?
I think it'll be Ricky and Cesar, Juan and Shane, Vinny and Amber, and Rod and Chi-Chi.
Okay.
I agree.
Really?
I agree. Yep. I really love Juan and Shane. There's something about them. I love their relationship. I love that they're doing it for their family and their wives back home. And I think they're good. I really do think they're good. They're just I think they got recruited. I'm not sure, but for not knowing the race, they're still doing like really well, you know?
I've never flew in a cockpit, and so it's like I would really love for them to win. So I feel like everyone can sit in the cockpit with them and for them to fly high.
Yeah.
And I also feel like if Ricky and Cesar don't win, I feel like a lot of the community could get behind a Juan and Shane winning, if that makes sense, right? So it's like I feel like they have enough of an edit. But obviously I'm rooting for Ricky and Cesar, but
so for me, for Ricky and Cesar, here's the thing. We've never seen them in a bad, I'm not saying in a bad mood, but struggling or like towards the bottom or fighting to like stay on the race. But we do see a clip of, I think it's Ricky crying. And I have a feeling they are going to win, but since I do see him crying, I'm wondering if they like start off on a bad foot, which will kind of be nice. Again, I don't want to say this, but it'll be nice to see them overcome something, since everything's been so easy for them, not easy, but you know what I'm saying.
I'm with
you. Easy for them because they've been a welder and a chef and there's nothing they haven't done. I mean, I do think the last 2 weeks on a preview, they have shown somebody struggling and that somebody is the team that goes home. I think they might be trying to fake us out this time. Although I actually put $5 on Juan and Shane. So I'm going to say Juan and Shane because I want my $5. And Ricky and Cesar. And then I'm going to say Rod and Leticia. And I think it's going to be close. I want it to be like foot racy to the end, close.
Yes, that'll be great. So if there's gonna be an elimination halfway through, so we all think Rod and Leticia. Are we all in agreement with that? Everybody ranked them last.
I'm on Vinny and Amber eliminated partway through. That's my guess. Maybe by no fault of their own. I don't know. I have no idea. That's the best part. I don't know if anybody here knows what happens. But
they're the only team that hasn't won the first place.
Who knows? Rod? Oh yeah,
Vinny and Amber.
Yeah, they did. Rod and Leticia won right at the beginning.
No, he said Vinny and Amber.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I hate looking at social media because I have the way Vinny, mostly Vinny posts. I feel like he got to the finale.
Okay. So once again, Brooke knows nothing, and that's fine. I'm cool with that. And I do probably think Ricky and Cesar win, and I would be thrilled with it if a team deserves it for knowing how to race and what to do and the little things. Louis and Michelle, Ricky and Cesar said to me last week when they were at Rihanna's house, they actually turned around after leaving to go back to make sure they knew what the little plaque on the floor looked like. They took 5 minutes and went back so that if in the memory challenge in the end it came up, they wouldn't have to question it. They would know the answer. Like that should be rewarded.
Do you think the other teams did that? I don't think so.
It's
and not because
it's small details.
Right, they think about those things.
Small details.
So I don't know.
Crazy. Even in this episode, there was a moment where he told the other taxi drivers, it's something so silly and so stupid, but he was like, hey, make sure you drive slow, like slow down.
And that's something that like one of the drivers could be funny and be like, I actually will drive slow. Like I agree. Like I think that they're handling it like pros. And I'm excited to see.
I mean, if they don't win, there is a 0% chance they're not being asked back to come do it again. I mean, that is, and I would love to see how they do on a season where teams had the opportunity to slow them down or handicap them in some way, because every U-turn would have been used on them this season. Every yield, every whatever would have been used on this team because they deserved it, because they are so like not human. You're right. They're so incredible. So I'm excited.
Yeah. And there's not going to be a season. That's it. This is the last COVID season. I'm not sure why they don't do U-turns. Is something I'm dying to know, because it doesn't make any sense. It's they go back and do another task. All the tasks are short anyways. Like, so, but we're not going to see that anymore. This is the last time, hopefully, and what sucks is that Amazing Race doesn't come back till next year, but
I don't think they start filming again until next month.
I think they're filming soon.
I think it's June.
Yeah. So I heard a rumor. Well, I guess what they did announce their fall, so they're not coming back in the fall. But when you play the race, do they tell you there's going to be U-turns this season?
Okay, so for our season, they did. They told us in the beginning there's not going to be any U-turns because they didn't want us talking in our interviews about U-turns and all that. So they wanted that out. But for Kim and Penn season, Raquel and Kayla's season, they didn't tell them anything. And it was the same COVID. That was the season where they left for COVID. And then when they came back, they didn't tell them anything. But for our season, and from what I heard, this season as well, they told them that there's not going to be any.
And I wonder, even because Ricky and Cesar are not human and they are just like mortals or immortal, I feel like if they would have had wind that it would have been U-turns, I feel like their strategy would have been a little different. I feel like that they are so smart. I feel like they would have tried to work more with other teams or helped other teams to kind of build those allies and relationships. So again, I don't even think that would have stopped them, because I think they would have built relationships.
Yeah, I think they would have worked smarter. They would have been a little more Danny and a little less Robin and Chelsea.
It's funny. When we found
going back to last season,
before we found out that there was no U-turns, Louis had told me like, hey, in orientation or whatever, we have to act like we don't know the race, like so people don't think we're like a threat. So he was even gonna be like, oh, what's a roadblock again?
I'd see right through you. I'd be like, that guy's a ringer. But also, they're fit and they're fabulous. I still want to be friends with them, and I'm going to team up with them whenever I can. Sorry, what's the show called? What do we have to do?
Brooke would have been in the back of orientation. Bullshitter!
No, I'm going to keep my mouth shut there because I don't want people turning on me either. And I would have been like, I know you full of shit. I know you know. I see through you, but let's work together.
It's so crazy to think that season is coming to an end, as well as this episode. But Vinny and Michelle, Lewis and
He did it on purpose.
Lewis and Michelle, we love and thank you so much for joining us. This episode, you know, we love you. Lewis is always in my heart. We look forward to
at least for this month.
Yes, is May your birthday month? Was it just your birthday?
Yeah, it was just my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And guys, thank you so much for having us on. Like, we love the Purple Pants family. We love you guys. We wish you could be there with you in the finale next week, Brooke. Maybe next season. Nah, man, my work. I took off too many days with Japan, man. I can't leave. But I can't wait for our sleepover, baby. We gotta have a sleepover in Miami. Yes, and yes. Thanks for having us on.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. This is so much fun. I knew this was going to be a fun one, and we paused for a second. I was like, bro, this is a really fun one. So I'm really, really happy that you were able to join us. Thanks for being a part of it. This was really great. And I don't care that I didn't even get to whatever. I didn't get to anything. Why do I even take notes anymore? I'm going to learn my lesson and take no notes next week.
You gotta highlight your best notes out of all of them.
Well, it's hard when she got 37 pages, Michelle. The whole page going to be yellow. But this was so much fun. This has been your Purple Pants podcast, pit stop coverage of Amazing Race, season 36, episode 9. We're out.
Love y'all. Peace.
Bye.
Pit stop. It's a pit stop. Pit stop. It's a pit stop. Pit stop. It's a pit stop.